By the time Mario Balotelli was 22 years old, he had already won the Champions League at 19. He had won the Premier League at 21. He had scored twice in the European Championship semifinal for Italy. And some of the most respected managers in football history believed he could become one of the best players in the world. He had the talent, he had the clubs, he had the trophies, he had the moments. So, how did a player who seemed destined for greatness become one of football's biggest what-ifs? That is the question this video is going to answer. Balotelli was born in Palermo to Ghanaian parents and grew up in Brescia after being placed in foster care as a young child. Football became everything. By his mid-teens, some of Europe's biggest clubs were already watching him. Barcelona passed. Inter Milan did not. At 16, Balotelli joined Inter. And from the moment he arrived, the people around him understood they were watching something different. Jose Mourinho was his manager, and Mourinho said he could write 200 pages about Balotelli and none of them would be a drama. They would all be a comedy. But even Mourinho admitted the talent was real. He told a story once about a Champions League match where Balotelli had a yellow card at halftime. Mourinho spent 14 of the 15 halftime minutes speaking only to him. He told him, "Do not touch anyone, do not argue with anyone. If the referee makes a mistake, say nothing. If someone provokes you, say nothing. Just play football." 46 minutes into the second half, Balotelli was sent off. So that tells you something about Mourinho, but it also tells you something about Balotelli, because despite everything, Mourinho still played him, still trusted him, still believed the talent was worth the chaos. And at 19, Balotelli won the treble with Inter, Champions League, Serie A, Coppa Italia. He was 19 years old. Then came Manchester City. City paid 22 million euros for him in 2010. His manager was Roberto Mancini, the same coach who had managed him at Inter, the same man who believed in him more consistently than anyone. And Mancini said publicly that Balotelli had what it took to be as good as Messi or Ronaldo, not similar to them. So, the pressure on Balotelli when he arrived at City was not small, but in his first full season he began to show exactly why people believed those things. He scored a hat-trick against Aston Villa. He scored twice against Manchester United in a 6-1 demolition at Old Trafford. The biggest Manchester derby result in decades. But it is what happened around that United game that tells you everything you need to know about Mario Balotelli. The night before the match, Balotelli had accidentally set his house on fire with fireworks. He turned up the next day and scored twice. And after his second goal, he lifted his shirt to reveal a message printed on the fabric underneath. It said, "Why always me?" A week later, Manchester City named him the city's official ambassador for fireworks safety. That one week is the Balotelli story in miniature. The genius and the chaos lived in the same person. And you could never have one without the other. Then came Euro 2012. And this is where the talent stopped being a conversation and became a reality. Italy reached the semifinal against Germany. And in the first 40 minutes, Balotelli scored twice and sent Italy into the final. After the second goal, he took off his shirt and stood completely still in the middle of the pitch, arms out, eyes forward. Suddenly, the question was not whether Balotelli had the talent. Everyone could see he did. The question was whether he could sustain it. But something was already happening underneath the surface. And the important thing to understand is that Balotelli's story was never as simple as talent versus bad behavior. They were his own decisions. There was inconsistency. There were clashes with coaches and suspensions that came at the worst possible moments. But there was also something else that ran through his entire career that does not get talked about enough. Throughout his time in football, Balotelli was racially abused. Repeatedly. By fans of clubs he played for and against. By crowds at international tournaments. In 2009, Juventus fans abused him so badly that Inter's owner said he would have pulled the team off the pitch if he had been there. At Euro 2012, both Croatia and Spain were fined after their fans directed racist abuse at him. In 2019, playing for Brescia in the city where he grew up, fans at Verona racially abused him in the stands. Balotelli picked the ball up and kicked it toward the crowd. He began walking off the pitch. Both sets of players had to convince him to stay. He stayed. He scored. Brescia lost anyway. This does not explain every decision Balotelli made. It does not erase the mistakes or the moments where his own choices made things harder. But it does mean the story cannot be told, as if every obstacle in his career came from inside him. It did not. So Mancini kept giving him chances at City, and Balotelli kept taking them, but the pattern kept repeating. A suspension here, a clash with a coach there, a training ground incident at the wrong moment. Mancini said publicly that he had finished his words for Balotelli, that he loved him like a son, but could no longer keep defending a player who made things so difficult for himself. And so in January 2013, Balotelli moved to AC Milan. 12 goals and 13 appearances, a goal every game. The old Balotelli, the one everyone had been waiting for. But then Liverpool, £16 million, 1 goal and 16 league appearances, then Milan again on loan. Then Nice, then Marseille, then Brescia, then Monza, then Turkey, then Switzerland, and at each club the same thing happened. A new start, flashes of the brilliance that had made everyone believe. Then something would go wrong, a suspension, a clash, a training incident, and the move that was supposed to be the one where everything finally came together would end the same way as the one before it. Football kept giving Balotelli another chance, and Balotelli kept taking it. And it kept not being enough. So what happened to Mario Balotelli? He won the Champions League at 19. He won the Premier League at 21. He scored twice in a European Championship semi-final. And one of the most successful managers in football history said he had the potential to be as good as Messi or Ronaldo. And yet, every few years, football asked the same question. What happened to Mario Balotelli? Maybe it was his decisions, maybe it was the environments around him, maybe it was the enormous weight of expectations placed on a teenager who had not yet learned how to carry them. Maybe it was all of those things at once. But that is what makes his story different from a simple fall from grace. He did not fail to reach the top. He reached it. He just could not stay there. And so years later, people are not only talking about what Mario Balotelli achieved, they are still talking about what he could have achieved. And that question has never fully gone away.